Awesome, Todd. Well, thank you so much for joining me this fine afternoon. I really appreciate you taking the time to chat with me today. So Todd, give me a quick background, real quick, about you and your business, how long you've been in the game, and stuff like that.
Yeah, so I've long been interested in real estate. I actually got my first rental property back in, I think it was 2002, and at that same time I got my real estate license, which at the time it wasn't to actively use my real estate license. It was more just for the education because, again, I purchased a rental property, or a couple rental properties. So I did that and then just kind of did not do a whole lot with it other than those rentals. And he worked in the corporate world for a long time. But then the interest in real estate had continued, and kind of got re-engaged with it, more active in it really about 4 years ago.
Okay.
And that's kind of the situation. Fast forward to today, and I'm just actively doing real estate full time.
That's exciting. That's really exciting. So congrats on that pivot from going part-time to full-time. That's something we see a lot with the investors we work with. Either they started doing it kind of as a side hustle, or they bought a property here, bought a property there, and then they were like so sick of their day job, they used real estate investing to do something they were actually excited about. So congrats on that. So tell me something, you got your first deal, your first rental back in 2002, I think is what you said. And then you really started doing this actively in about 4 years ago. So tell me about like that very first deal that you did when you started getting back into it.
Yeah. So the first one that when I got back into it actually was a fix and flip, and bought the house. It was from a seller who he actually had purchased the house for his father. His father was in declining health, and bought the house for his dad. And then I was talking to him a couple of years after his father had passed. Really didn't want to keep it as a rental, and I think for emotional reasons kind of wanted to sell it and just move on. He had purchased it through a foreclosure, so he got it at a good price, and it kind of served his purpose. And he was really just wanting to get out of it for a cash sale, something that made sense. He was not interested in listing it. So I bought it at numbers that made sense and did a full renovation on it, and resold it. Now I will say this: I mean, all the fix and flips I've done, they've taken longer than I planned, and I've spent more money than I planned. But I've made the most money on the fix and flips. But it was a successful one, and I think the numbers on it, bought it for, let's say 60, ended up putting about 35 in it, and we sold it for 135, and it was not on the market for very long. So
yeah,
it was a good one.
That's awesome. That's good. Well, congrats on that. That's fun. What we have learned is working with sellers, every single circumstance is different. Every single person has a different reason or motivation for looking to sell. But one of the most important processes to help someone feel comfortable selling their home, especially to an investor usually accepting some sort of discounted offer, is that you listen, you build rapport, and there's some empathy in there, and that you're really trying to do what's best for the seller. And it seems like that's how that first deal went. You really were able to help him solve a solution or solve a problem that he had, and provide a solution by, getting the property under contract. So that's really exciting. Good work.
Yeah,
so tell me,
I 100% agree with you too, in terms of, in this business, success, you have to have the right attitude and mindset about it. Again, it's be honest with people, and if it's the right solution, it's the right solution, but don't try to force something, and people will see that. And
yeah,
I often tell people that if you want to maximize what you get, typically listing your property and selling it, retail is typically how you do it, even with the fees and stuff, but that's not the right solution in every case. That's why there's people that want a cash offer. And again, it has its place, and you just have the right approach with it. And like you said, be there to help people and approach it from that standpoint, and the deals will come.
Yeah, I completely agree. That's something that we really try to almost preach here at Amplify, is to look for win-win solutions. We really do look for those type of people to bring on as clients that we work with, because these are real people. And if you're just hungry, starving after just money, one, you're not going to close as many deals, I wholeheartedly believe. And then two, you're not going to see long-term success. And so we really believe that's the core of success really in any business should be helping people see win-win solutions and building those good relationships and long-term, anyways, all that stuff. So
Yeah.
tell me about the most recent deals you've been working. I know you have a few under contract right now that leads we've generated for you, but what's the most recent deal that maybe you got under contract or closed that was kind of a process or a little tricky or something like that?
Well, the most recent one I've got is it's one I plan to wholesale, and it's a desirable property because it's not a fancy house, but it overlooks a lake and across the street from a marina. So there's a lot somebody could do with it. I mean, it could be desirable for somebody that just wants to live there and have a nice location, but it could possibly be a good Airbnb type property for somebody,
cool.
or a long-term rental. But because of the amount of work that it needs, it's an older house built like in the 50s, and there's some structural issues with it. Plus, it's about an hour drive from where I live, so it's not something I want to undertake as far as a renovation on it. But the plan is that the numbers make sense. That really just buying it and then just going to list it. And again, I think there's going to be a lot of interest in it. And so anyhow, I'm supposed to close on that next week. There's been some title issues a little bit, so we're working through that, but still hope to close on it next week.
That's cool.
That's the other thing too, as far as issues. Again, I recommend just do your homework. It's got an inspection on it, and because of the results of the inspection, I actually went back and we modified the purchase price a little bit. The seller was very understanding on that because of some issues that you could not see just from a standard walkthrough. So I typically like to pay for an inspection, and this one too, because of the some title issues, we are going to have a survey done, which the closing attorney recommended we do that. So that's one thing that's causing a little bit of a delay.
Okay. And so do you typically get a home under contract before you do the official inspection? So your goal is to get that under contract, and then and I think that's really wise because, and this is something we've actually recommended, even if it's not a formal inspection, bringing in that third party gives you a lot of ammo if there is issues with the home to negotiate maybe a lower price for you to actually work with. And I think sellers are more understanding and you're more on their side. You're sitting on the same side of the table and the inspector's on the other side compared to the previous. Is that something you try to practice?
Yeah. So I definitely try to get stuff under contract first before incurring the cost of an inspection. And then I don't get an inspection in 100% of the cases, but I do think it's a good business practice because again, it protects yourself and really, again, I don't make it a practice to use the inspection to retrade the deal. But again, if there's legitimate reasons, and again, in this case, stuff that I could not see, stuff I could not account for, it's totally legitimate. And again, the seller was very understanding. And what I proposed is like, look, I mean, the stuff that came up that I did not account for, I'm not expecting you to reduce the price by 100% of that. I'll absorb some of that, but we worked on a price, and he said felt like that was more than fair. So again, he being honest with people, he could see the inspection report, see the issues, and we worked it out from there.
That's awesome. And was that a deal? Was that a lead we had generated for you, or was that a lead you had from another source?
Yeah, that was a lead that was through Amplify.
Awesome. That's exciting. Yeah. So let me pick your brain real quick. You've been with us. We've been working together now. I think it's a little over a month. Is like close to 6 weeks, I think. Is that pretty accurate?
That's right. Yeah.
Tell me really quick just what your experience has been like from the very beginning to where we are now, kind of what type of success you've started to see and what you hope to see in the future.
Yeah, I've been super pleased with it so far because everybody I've dealt with has been professional. I think our goals and objectives and mindset, how you do business, match up well. I like that you guys are above board, honest, treat people the right way. Because there's a lot of people in this industry that are not that way. So that was a good fit. And then I felt like you over delivered, under promised on the results. At least for me so far, the leads have exceeded what I expected they would be in terms of the number and the cost. And I know that may not always be the case, but that was kind of a good feeling there. And so so far with the ad budget that I've got, I've definitely gotten more leads than I've expected. I've got a good, robust pipeline that's being built. There's already some deals that have come out of it, either stuff that I can buy, or if not, again, I'm using my real estate license. So if it doesn't work to buy it, there's some stuff I'm picking up as listings, and it's a good situation so far.
That's awesome. Well, we really, really appreciate working with you. And we know it's been a great experience for both parties. We've really enjoyed the process. And correct me if I'm wrong. Do you have you closed any deals yet? Or do you just have, I think you have like 3 or 4 properties under contract at this point, right?
Yeah. So at this point, I've not closed on anything, but I've got this one I was describing to you that, we've got a delay on the closing, but hope to close it, maybe next week. I've got 2 that are listings, and then a 4th one where there's kind of a verbal indication that they want to sell. So that's pretty good, strong results for a short period of time, because this is a business too where success comes from follow-up.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just excited that there's a robust pipeline and stuff at different stages. So as I know within there's stuff that haven't contracted yet, but there's likely to be a contract, whether it's 2 weeks from now, 2 months from now, or even a year from now. There's stuff that's in there. So.
That's awesome. That's what we preach. It used to be location, 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 and there is some location in there, but it is all in the follow-up game now here in real estate investing. So I'm glad the system's working for you. You're starting to see the success. Real quick, let me ask you this last question. If you had to go back and start over or give advice to a brand new investor, what is like the one tidbit of advice that you would give them?
Wow, there's lots of things. I would say, take your time. Don't quit your day job. If see how you like it first, and then if it makes sense and matches up, then you can transition. You can always transition. I mean, it is a capital intensive business. So, but if the numbers make sense on these deals, there's funding sources out there to fund the deals. That's not an issue. But you have to prove yourself and demonstrate that you can execute on deals and deliver. But I'd say network a lot with folks, and again, don't have the mindset that somebody's a competitor. See what opportunities might exist. You never know, you might be able to do a deal together with somebody, or you never know how what may come from it. So just have a go-giver mentality and work hard, and results will follow.
That's awesome. Yeah, I have 3 main takeaways from our call today. One is to treat people like people and look for win-win situations. Mm-hmm. And if you do that, success will follow. 2, do your due diligence, whether that's having an inspection or building, the right relationships. And then 3, to really realize that there's plenty of opportunities out there for everyone. We really believe that there's a very huge market out there. Us ourselves have talked to well over 4,000 investors all over the country interested in receiving leads. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. We're having more and more people come in every day. And the only way that market exists is because there's plenty of, not product, but what's the word? I can't remember, but there's
plenty of opportunities for sure.
There's plenty of opportunities. There's so many people that need help, and the more creative you can get, the more solutions you can provide, the more problems you're going to solve. So, when you have a listing as an option, or a flip, or owner financing, or whatever it is, there's so many different things you can do to help people. And when you're really out to do that, you're going to make a lot of money in the process. You're going to see some great success, and hopefully you're going to help a lot of people along the way. So really exciting times. Right. Really exciting time. So Todd, thank you so much for your time today. I cannot thank you enough. We wish you the best, and hopefully, a lot more success to be coming. As always, if there's anything we can do to help support you, please let us know.